We had finished with the first 9 bullet points. Let's take the 10th bullet point now. Nested try. So by the meaning of nested in programming, we understand that one inside the other, right? Okay. So this is a rectangle. This is a rectangle within a rectangle. So we'll call as nested rectangle, correct? This is a triangle. So we'll have a triangle inside a triangle. So this is called as nested triangle. Circle within a circle is called as nested circle. So similarly on these terms, a try having a catch and a try having a catch. So is what will we call this? Nested try. Try catch within a try catch. So which is the outer try, which is the inner try? Black is the outer try and red is the inner try. Okay. So for this I was discussing of the IPL playoffs. So the top 4 teams qualify for the next round. So how is the match organized between these 4? How is the calendar made for them? First, 1-2 plays and the winner goes to the final, right? So 1-2 play each other, winner goes to the final, right? And 3-4 play each other, the loser goes out. The loser out, loser is eliminated, right? This is called as eliminator. So whoever loses is eliminated, and whoever wins now, what happens with that? So the winner of the eliminator and the loser of qualifier 1, they again play, and the winner goes to the final, correct? Something of this nature it happens. So what is the advantage of finishing in the first 2 position? What is the advantage of finishing? Yes, you get one more attempt of qualifying to the final. Here, if you lose, directly eliminated. So that's why it is always an advantage to finish in the top 2, right? So same logic will apply over here. If an exception occurs over here, where in the inner try. So first attempt will be given to the catch. Which catch? Inner catch. If the inner catch fails to catch it, then one more attempt will be given that the outer catch can catch it or not. So how many attempts will be given for handling this exception? 2. One to the inner catch. If the inner catch is successful, very good. If the inner catch fails to catch it, then one more attempt is given to the outer catch. If the outer catch also catches the exception, program will move ahead without terminating. Making sense? Okay. So now let's try to replicate this into the program. Let's try to replicate this into the program. Today is day 14. Yeah? No, no. They get imported. I'll show you. I'll show you. Nested triangle. See, if you are using any class If you're using this class, right, which is outside my package, I have to import it. And why are these lines, yellow line? These are imported but not used. Imported but, so do a control shift O to eliminate all the unused import. Control shift O. Will refresh all your imports and those which are not in use will be removed. Okay, make sense? So now only these two are there. Okay, it is only importing input mismatch exception. If you observe over here, it is not importing arithmetic and null pointer. Why? Answer should be in 5 seconds because they are from java.lang. They are from. Why is it not importing string? Why is it not importing system? They are present in java.lang and java.lang is auto import. You have to import it. Okay, so that's why they don't import the arithmetic exception. Make sense? So let's come over here now. Let's try demo. So now what I'm trying to do is I will try a scenario over here wherein I will make a array. Okay, this is my own situation. Array, and I will make it of size 2. What size? So try to visualize this array. Okay, try to visualize this array. This is you all have got, right? Nested try concept. So I can remove it. So how many elements should be there in this array of size 2? Yes, no, maybe guys. 2 elements. So what should be the indexes for this array? 0 and 1. And what type of array is this? As I have mentioned, it is a integer array, correct? So 0 and 1, correct? So now I'll enter values for this. So I'll ask the user enter value for which index? Enter value for 1 index. Okay, so let me take them. So I'll use the scanner. SC is new scanner system.in and sysout enter value for index 0. So if the user enters 10, if the user enters, where will I store 10? This is the array name, right? Where will I enter 10 at? ARR of 0, correct? So I will say ARR of 0 equals to, make sense? Similarly, I will say enter value for index 1. And what will he enter? Let's say he enters 5. 5 will go where? ARR of. Now I want to divide these two numbers. I want to, okay, what exception can occur over here? Input mismatch can occur because if I ask enter at index 0 and he enters apple, can I store apple in index 0 of an integer array? No. So I'll monitor this. I'll monitor this, and if an exception occurs, I'll catch it. So I'm forecasting which exception? Input mismatch exception. Yeah. And if it does occur, what will I say? Please enter valid integer, valid positive integer value. Or we'll just say, please enter valid integer. No, positive, you can enter any value, right? I'll say, please enter valid integer value, correct? So let's try to test this much. Right click, run as Java application, and I enter 10 and apple. तो क्या होगा? आ गया? एक्सेप्शन आ गया? Yes or no? So see, I've got the exception. Please enter valid integer value. So it's working. This try is working. Okay. Now once I have these two numbers in place, I want to do a division on them. I want to do a, so for division I require a numerator and I require a denominator. है ना? So I will now ask the user which number you want as numerator and which number you want as denominator. तो बोलता है अगर मुझे इंडेक्स 0 चाहिए, न्यूमिनेटर क्या चाहिए? इंडेक्स क्या चाहिए? 0 क्या चाहिए मुझे? और इंडेक्स 1 चाहिए डिनोमिनेटर. तो आंसर क्या आएगा? 10 डिवाइड बाई 5. न्यूमिनेटर क्या है? जो नंबर इंडेक्स 0 पे है. इंडेक्स 0 पे क्या है? सो आंसर विल, द न्यूमिनेटर विल बी 10 and denominator is the number which is the index 0. So what is the denominator? 5. So 10 divided by 5, answer will be 2, right? If he says I want like this, the number at index 1 I want as the numerator and the number at index 0 I want as the denominator. Now 5 divided by 10, answer will be 0.2, right? Yes or no? So answer for this will be 2 and answer for this will be 0. So now I will ask the user from these two numbers which you want as the numerator and which index you want as the denominator. So I will ask this question. I will ask the user this question. Enter index of numerator. Enter index of numerator number. So which number you want as the numerator, enter the index. So if he wants 10 as the numerator, what will he enter? Enter index of the numerator number. So if you want 10 as the numerator, what will you enter? 0. Yes or no? So no, index, only index. Okay, so I'll take n index, numerator index. So what will be in n index? 0. And if he wants 5 as the numerator, the denominator, what will I ask him? Enter index for denominator number. So if he enters 1, so what will come in D index? 1. So what is the numerator now? Numerator will be, so I'll take an integer numerator, will be ARR of n index. Understand this. I'm asking the user to enter the index. So index of numerator number, what does he enter? 0 comes in which variable? N index. So which is my numerator? ARR dot ARR of n index. So what is ARR of 0? So numerator is 10. And what is my denominator now? Tell me. Will be ARR of D index, right? Correct? So let's try to add this to the code. So once I have this, I'll try to do this over here. So this I will write in the inner try. This I will write in the, I'll make one more try over here. Okay. SOP की जगह पे क्या आएगा? What will it display over there to the user? Enter the index for the numerator number. So what index will the user enter? 0. So while entering the numbers, he had entered what? 10 and 5. What did he enter? 10 and 5. So enter index of numerator number. What does he enter? 0. That goes into n index. ARR of n index is your numerator. So what is the numerator now? So what is the numerator? Numerator is 10. And enter index for denominator. What does he enter? 1. The 1 goes into which index? So what is the denominator now? denominator. Okay, is what? What is denominator now? Tell me. 5, right? So now I will divide them. I will do what? Divide them. Double result equals to numerator divide by denominator, and I will sys out the result. Okay. Now, what problems can arise over here? If the user enters the number 10 and 0, if the user enters the number, so what is numerator? 10. What is denominator? 0. So this code at line number 31 will throw which exception? Arithmetic. So I need to catch that. Okay. So what will I sys out? Okay, let's take the arithmetic exception, E1. And what will I say? Please enter valid denominator. Or directly I will just say the message which E1 has, right? E1 dot get message. It will say what? Divide by 0. So I can just put a prefix cannot divide by 0, right? Make sense? Okay. Second, what if he enter index and numerator and he enters 7? He enters what? 7. Now ARR of 7, is it a valid index? So what will occur at line number 25? Array index out of 1 can also occur, right? Then what will I say? Sys out. Please enter valid index. Correct? All good? Let's save it now. Now let's test all the scenarios. Let's play. I enter 10 and 2. All good? Index of numerator number. I want 10 as my numerator. What will I say? 0. I want 2 as my denominator. Index 10 divided by 2. 5. I've got the result. Everything went well. This is the happy scenario. This is the happy scenario. Okay. Now let's come. Enter value for 0. I enter apple. So at line number 15, which exception will occur? Input missing. Then will it ask me for line number 17? No. Directly it will throw. And who will catch it? The outer catch. Because remainder of that try is skipped. No. This all code will be skipped. And directly it will go to the catch. Caught it. And what will it say? Okay. Tested this. Okay. Now let's test. First number is 10. Second number is 0. Numerator index is 0. Denominator index is 1. Now what will happen? Well, problem will happen over here. Line number 31. 10 divided by 0. What is that? Arithmetic. What will it show me? Cannot divide by 0. Cannot divide by 0. And now if I try to do 10 and 5, all good. Enter index and numerator. I want 10 as my numerator. I will say 0. And if I say 2 over here means, is there index 2 in an array of size 2? No. So at what line? At line number 29, what will occur? Array index out of bounds. So this part will be skipped and directly we go to the catch. Is there a catch for that? Now what will it say? The enter valid index, right? Okay, now coming to the troublesome area. What if I come over here and say 10 and 5 and now enter index of numerator, I say apple. So at line number 24, what is happening? Which exception? Input with. Have I written any catch to handle that in the inner try? So this will fail. Then it will get one more attempt. Go and check in the outer catch, if there is any catch which can catch it. Can it catch it? And still this will be caught and the program will continue executing. So what will it come? Please enter valid integer value and the program will continue execution. This is called as nested try. Making sense? Very common sort of questions asked in interviews. Difference between final, finally, and finalize. So let's break this down. So final, what is final in Java? This is a keyword. Very good. Is this a close-ended question? Will you answer in one word? So a final keyword can be placed or prefix before a data member or before a member method in superclass. Okay, only in superclass or before a superclass name. Okay, so we can so you can use super before a data member before a method in the final can be used only method in the super class, and final can be only used before a super class name, not for any class name but only a super class. Okay, so only, okay, not super class because it's not been inherited. So before a class. Okay, so if I write final before a data member, what happens? So final double pi equals to 3.14 means what? Cannot be modified, cannot be, not modifiable, not modifiable. You cannot modify that data. If I write final before a superclass method, so if I have a class Amitabh and I write final void home and I do give some declaration over here. So, and I write over here final, okay? So if I inherit this class, extends Amitabh. Now, can I override this home method? Can I write a function with the same name and same parameter in the child class? And can I say at override? Is it possible? No. So means what? Final method cannot be overridden. You cannot override it. So not overridable. Not overridable. Okay. And if I write final before a class name, so if I write final class Amitabh, then I cannot extend that class. Cannot be, not inheritable. Not inheritable. Okay. So you can make a class immutable. You can make a class by making it what? Final. Cannot be. So now you cannot try to extend this class. So this was for final, right? Now what is finally? Finally is the third block of the exception handling. Okay. And what does it do? All the cleanup job it does. What does it do? Third block of exception handling and does the cleanup job. Okay. See, one try can throw multiple exceptions. This we have done. Just in the last example we had done. The inner try was throwing an arithmetic also and a array index out of bound also. So one try block can throw multiple exceptions. Let's say it has chance of throwing three exceptions, E1, E2 and E3. So let's say I'm doing file handling and it throws up three exceptions. So this is a catch for which catch block for exception E1, catch for exception E2, and catch for exception E3. So they are handling the exception, and after handling the exception, they will close that file. What will they'll do? Each one will do the. If I was doing a database interaction and I was handling the exception, so what will they do? Database connection dot close. What will they do? Database connection dot close and file dot close. So all this will be written at the end of each catch. Database connection dot close and file connection dot, right. So each of the catch is handling it, and I don't know which exception will occur. So I will have to replicate this code across all the three catch, because after every catch I want to close the file and close the connection. If the connection is not in use, please close it, because these are all heavyweight objects. They will consume a lot of your resource and memory. So if it is running in the background unnecessary and nobody is using it, better we close it. Okay. So I'll do close db connection or db connection dot close. Okay. So I am not guaranteed which exception will occur. So I, on the safe side, write this code across all the three catches. Right. So if exception E1 occurs, then handle the exception, handling code, and after handling code, the cleanup code. What is this? What is this called as? Your cleanup code. So every catch will do two parts: handling the code and cleanup code. Handling the code and handling the exception code. So E handling code and also the what code? Cleanup code also every catch block will do. Similarly, blah blah. So code, handling code, and cleanup code. So what they did is, now, irrespective whichever exception occurs, I want to do the cleanup. So rather than writing the cleanup in every catch, write the cleanup where? In a separate block called as finally. So now this code will be written only once. So we'll avoid code duplication. So this code will be written only once. Where? Over here. Now don't write it duplicate. So now the catch block will only take care of the exception handling part of. Okay, it will not do any cleanup job. Okay. Now it will only write what? Handling. Because I am guaranteed that after the catch, I have written a finally block, so code will go into finally. So if this exception occurs, do the handling, clean the code. This occurs, do the handling, clean the code. This occurs, do the handling, clean the code. So if the code has gone into try, it is mandatory, it will go into finally. If exception occurs, try catch finally. If it does not occur, try final. I have to, as it is, close the connection and close the database, irrespective errors occur or errors do not occur. So finally is the third block of the exception handling, and it does all the cleanup job. If the code goes into try, it is mandatory. It should also go into finally. It will go into catch is conditional of the exception occurring. Okay. So that is your finally block. And finalize is the destructor in Java. What is finalize? Finalize is the destructor. You know, we have constructor. You know, we have constructor, right? Similarly, we have destructor. So that is the method finalize. It's a method of the object class. Which class method finalizes? So it is having access specifier protected. Protected void finalize. And it is in which class? And so all the classes inherit from the object class. So we have to override this if we want to write the destructor. And when will the destructor execute? See, whenever Java finds any object, so if I have, let's visualize this, string name equals to Alice. So what is happening behind the scenes? What is happening behind the scenes? Some memory allocation is there on which Alice is written from the string constant pool, maybe, right? Yes or no? And which at what address? And who's pointing to it? So is this memory address having a valid reference pointing to it? Yes, so it is still active. Okay. Now if I write this, name equals to Ben, name equals to Ben. What happens is there is a new memory address where Ben is stored at, let's say, 2000. And now what? Which reference is pointing to Ben? The name reference which was pointing over here, now I shifted over here. So in the background, a garbage collector thread is running. What is running? It is in search of all those objects to which no active reference is pointing. So it will come in the first stage and mark all those objects. So garbage collector works on which pattern? Mark and sweep. Mark and sweep. So first stage it will come and mark all those objects to which no active reference is pointing. In the second wave, it will come and clear memory of all those objects. So this is, if one character is 1 byte, this is taking 5 bytes of memory. It will free that 5 bytes and put it back in the heap so that someone else can reuse it. So Java is an automatic garbage collected language. You only have to take care of the new keyword of allocation of memory. Freeing of memory, Java will take care. Okay, so behind every milliseconds, what is running? The garbage collector thread, which is in search of those objects which to which no active references point. So, if a prisoner is given a death sentence, okay, and is okay, this particular date, this particular time, he will be hanged. So just before that, they ask for his last wish. So before the object gets garbage collected, what code should we run? That is mentioned in the finalize. So just before garbage collection, if that object we should write, then we can write that code in the garbage collection. So that is your finalize method. So when will this execute? The code, this function will execute just before the object of this class is being garbage collected. So it will execute finalize and then the garbage collector will destroy the object. If it is not there, then directly it will destroy the object. So finally, and finalize. Got it? So it's done. Okay. Try with resources. We'll do when we do file handling. We'll do it. Okay. So we will postpone to chapter of. After this, we'll take file handling. Okay. Now let's come to which one? User defined exception. So we can write our own exceptions also. The exceptions which we have studied till now, these are all which exceptions? Predefined. You see over here, built-in exception. So if I want to write my own customized exception, I can do that also. Okay. So how do we do that? So let's say ki, uh, the retail cycle, e-commerce retail cycle, goods are manufactured by the manufacturer, that is the factory. Can the customer go to the factory and buy the goods directly? No. So the factory person gives it to the stockist, wholesaler. Can the customer go to the stockist and buy it? If the customer goes to the stockist and says that I want one marker, let's say we have a whiteboard marker. He says I want one marker. The stockist, the wholesaler will say minimum ordered quantity should be 500 because I supply to retailers. I do not supply to end customer. So if you want to order, minimum quantity should be 500. So if he has a website on which if you place an order, he will deliver it. So if you enter order quantity as 200, what will he respond? Please enter quantity more than 500. Yes or no? So let's write a class wholesaler and let's accept the quantity from the user. If the quantity is less than 500, we will throw our own exception. We will throw our invalid quantity exception or low quantity exception. Okay, so let's come here and make a new class called as wholesaler. Now you will the behind the scenes of Java. Now your understanding of this topic will be tested now. Java's natural reaction. Now this concept, who's thorough in this, will able to understand this even faster. So integer, let's take the scanner and take what? Sys out, enter quantity. And I'll say integer qty equals to sc dot next int, correct? And if the quantity is greater than 500, I will do sys out order accepted. If it is not, then what to do? Then we will make our own exception. Right click, new class, low quantity. Is this sufficient? Exception name. Follow the pattern. Each exception class ends with the keyword exception. So follow the universal pattern. Okay. Now, if you have to make an exception class, your own, then it should either inherit from any of these exception classes. So we narrow down to two classes, exception or runtime exception. Your exception class should inherit either from any of these exception classes. You can also inherit from arithmetic exception, but we don't use that much. So we use exception or runtime exception. So what difference would it make if I extend my class directly from exception or if I extend it from runtime exception? What difference would it make? Yes, absolutely correct. If I extend from runtime exception, all the children of runtime are unchecked. And if I extend directly from exception means it will do a strict checking that this exception is being thrown. What mechanism have you taken to handle it? So if you want that strict checking, take it exception. Or if you feel that I have other errors to check and I don't want unnecessary errors of this popping up, so I'll do it runtime. So we'll check for both. Okay. Now, what is this now? Who will tell me what is line number 5 called? Yes, constructor. And I will pass that to my superclass. That's all. Just write this much code only in this. So just make your low quantity exception extends either runtime exception or extends exception, make a constructor in it. So whenever I will make an object of low quantity exception, I have only one way of making the object, that is using this constructor. Means I have to pass a string because I have not given non-parameterized constructor over here. So the only way of making object of low quantity exception is whenever you will make an object of low quantity exception, you will have to pass a string as a parameter, else it will not allow you to make an object of this. Okay. Because once you write a parameterized constructor, you cannot use Java's default constructor. Java's default constructor can only be used unless until I have not written any constructor. Once I write my own constructor, This will override the Java's default constructor. So now I have only one way of making object of low quantity exception. So now what will happen over here? What happens when an exception occurs? It creates an and throws the object. So if I want to now throw the object, then I have to use a throw keyword. So throw keyword is used when you want to explicitly throw the exception. So throw what? Throw low quantity exception, throw low quantity exception, or throw new low quantity exception. Yes, new. It throws an object always. So new low quantity exception, and I have to pass a string over there, right? So I'll say what? Please enter quantity greater than 500, right? So, and this is going to throw. So I'll enroll this in the try catch because this is the code which is suspicious. So you always throw from a try catch. This is the code which is suspicious, no? And whichever code which is suspicious of throwing an exception should be within try catch. So which catch will catch it now? Which object is being thrown? So who can catch low quantity? Either a reference of low quantity or its parent, either of them. So, or its grandparent, which is, or its great grandparent. Or okay, so so I know, so I'll use the same class exception. So I'll use low quantity E1, and whatever I have passed over here will go as a message. Will go as the message. So if I sys out E1 dot get message, what will it display me? Now, irrespective the customer buys or not, I still have to greet him. So finally, sys out. Thank you and visit again. Okay. So like this, if I want to use, if I want to throw an exception, whether it is user defined, whether it is predefined, and I want to throw it explicitly on my logic, I can use throw. You can use throw even with arithmetic exception. That I want to throw a arithmetic exception. But arithmetic exception is thrown implicitly. So you would not want to throw it explicitly. But this is your own exception. So user defined exception you have to throw explicitly on your own logic. So let's save it and let's try to run this code and check if it works fine. Run as Java application. क्या हो रहा है ये? बहुत ज़्यादा ये मेमोरी भर गई इसकी. VM फुल हो गया. बहुत सारे ऐप्स चालू है क्या पीछे? चलो अभी रन करते हैं. वरना फिर बंद करना पड़ेगा एक्लिप्स को. ठीक है, आ गया. एंटर क्वांटिटी. तो मैंने एंटर कर दिया 750. 750 मोर देन 500. क्या आएगा? ट्राई में कोई एक्सेप्शन आया? डायरेक्ट लिखा जाएगा. ठीक है, अब आते हैं 350. तो इसमें आ गया थ्रो एन एक्सेप्शन. ओके, विल गो एंड कैच इट एंड thank you visitor. Is that making sense? So you can use a throw keyword to throw exceptions explicitly. You can also throw, not necessarily always throw built-in exceptions. You could have also thrown a throw new arithmetic exception. Which one? Okay, and this one. So now, can this low quantity catch it? Can the low quantity catch it? No. So I'll add one more exception. Arithmetic equal. Now what will happen? Now what will happen? If the quantity is less than 500, what is happening? I'm throwing a new arithmetic exception. What is the message of arithmetic exception? Cannot divide by 0. So you can throw any exception explicitly also by using the throw keyword. So run, and if I enter 300, will show it is showing null over here. Okay. So when you throw the arithmetic exception, you'll have to pass the message over here. I'll pass this message over here. I'll pass this message. Now this should be the localized message. Got it? So you can throw even your predefined messages by using which keyword? Throw. And whenever you throw, you have to throw the object, not the class. Making sense? Yes, no? No? We'll revert back over here. Clear? So this was which topic? User defined exception. So now if I give you a user defined exception, accept the name from user. If the name contains a space, throw invalid name exception. Try. So let me try it. Okay. So this was a wholesaler. So let's say this is application form. I'll make a new class. Application form. And I'll add main to it. Okay. So whatever I need from wholesaler, I'll take it. So what will I say? Enter first name. फर्स्ट नेम में स्पेस होगा क्या? होगा क्या नहीं होगा? Yes, no, maybe. So enter first name sc dot next line. Okay. So there are multiple ways of doing it. One way is like a traditional for loop. So I'll do a for integer I equals to 0, I less than first name dot length and I plus plus, and if I get first name dot char at any index equal to a space, then I will throw the exception. So this is the code which is notorious. So I'll put it inside try catch. I will throw which exception? Throw new. Okay, user defined exceptions, mostly the code is same. This is mostly the code is same. So I'll make a new exception. What class? Invalid name exception. So what will I do? Invalid name exception, correct? Copy this, make the constructor. That's all. So if my application contains a character, what will I do? Throw new, which one? Invalid name exception with say the message name cannot have a space. So what is other? I should say first name, right? First name cannot have a space. Okay. If this exception occurs, we'll catch it. Catch also is a E1. And what will I say? This out E1 dot message, right? Get message. And if everything goes well, okay, this is inside the, so the instance I get that, I'll come over here and okay, we'll try to display this. Semicolon pending. Okay. Hence I'll try it over here. Sys out. If no exception occurs, I'll say form submitted. So this is unreachable code now. This is the unreachable code. Put it in the else form submit. No, but this will not come in the else because we are in the loop, right? We are inside the loop. So what we can do is put this try outside the for. Put this try. I will monitor the entire for. For is there. This is the for clause and this is the try clause. If at any point of this time this will throw an exception, so directly will come outside the catch and will say what? Okay. And if my I has become what? I is equal to first name dot length means I is declared inside the for loop. So take it outside the for loop. Then I'll say what? This out. Form submitted. Form submitted. Close the if also. Okay. This is not in use. Now why is this I not initialized? Let's say I equal to. Let's check this out and try. Again मेमोरी का इशू आ रहा है बहुत. एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म पर हम लोग right click run as Java application. Why it's popping up all of a sudden? डबल इनिशियलाइज हो गया है क्या? नहीं नहीं ये इसका JVM का एरर आ रहा है. JVM का एरर आ रहा है मेमोरी का. दिख रहा है? VM का ज़्यादा ही मैंने कंज्यूम कर लिया है. शायद मैं शट डाउन करके स्टार्ट करता हूँ वापस. रिज्यूम करते हैं. राइट क्लिक रन एज जावा एप्लीकेशन. एंटर फर्स्ट नेम आदित्य. क्या आया? फॉर्म सबमिटेड. फर्स्ट नेम कैन नॉट हैव अ. जैसे वो आ गया एक्सेप्शन आ गया. ठीक है. डायरेक्टली अपन लूप के बाहर निकल गए. थ्रो से डायरेक्टली वो ब्रेक भी कर रहा है, बाहर भी आ जा रहा है. ठीक है ना. अगर इफ एल्स यूज करते बैठे तो फिर यहाँ पर फ्लैग लगाना पड़ता, ब्रेक करना पड़ता, फिर बाहर आके चेक करना पड़ता. यहाँ पर तुरंत जैसे वो आया, वो जैसे ये कंडीशन मीट हो गई तुरंत वो उसके कैच में चला गया. तो ये क्या था? एग्जाम्पल ऑफ. So as time as the exception occurs, you can throw the exception, right? And we can also throw what? Predefined exceptions also. Not necessarily always you throw user defined exception. You can also throw predefined exception. Okay. अब तुमको मैं एक टास्क देता हूँ. लेट्स से तुम लोग का कितना मसल बिल्डिंग हुआ है एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग में. सो यूजर से मुझे एक स्ट्रिंग लेना है. I need to take a string from the user. Okay, so I'll give you all a exception handling practice. EH practice. Okay, or these are your interview sort of questions you can say. Okay, so interview question. You need to take a string from user. Okay, I'll just show you one more exception. Number format exception. When does it occur? When you try to convert a string, non-numeric string, into a primitive type. Like I had discussed this no last time around. We had discussed this. So is my screen visible to you all? Paid screen? Yes, no, maybe visible, right? So we have three types of string. So this is which string? Numeric string. This is which string? Alphabetic string. And this is which string? Alphanumeric, right? This is numeric, non-numeric, and hello, hello, madam. ठीक, ठीक. सवाई. So string, okay. So if I try to convert this string, if I try to convert this string into an integer, how will I do it? Equals to, tell me, integer dot parse int. Which string? So what will it give me? What will it this give me? So if I SOP S1, what will it give me? The number 1, 2, 3. What will it give me? The number the N1, right? So if I SOP N1 or if I SOP S1, what will it give me? SOP S1 will give me a string 1, 2, 3, and N1 will give me the number 1, 2. So it is possible to convert it because it was a numeric string. If I try to do the same on a alphabetic string, will it allow me? Yes, no, maybe. Will it allow me to do this on an alphabetic string? Pass S2. So this will throw which exception? This will throw number format exception. Which exception? So if you try to convert a string which is not a numeric string into an integer, will throw. Okay, if the string was 123.4, so what would I do? Double dot parse, double dot parse, double. So it would convert into 123.4, right? Making sense? So let's try this practically. So if I have a string S1 equals to 1, 2, 3, and if I have string S2 as 1, 2, 3, and if I now sys out S1 plus S2, S1 plus what will be the output? Who will tell me? Will it be 2, 4, 6 or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? So when you use a plus with a string, it concatenates. So if I want the output of both the string as the 2, 4, 6, then what to do? Will be integer dot parse int what? S1 and integer dot parse to S2, right? And now if I do N1 plus N2, what will it give me? And was it successful in converting it into an integer? Yes. Had it not, it would have thrown me an exception. Which one? So now it is perfectly fine. Okay, if I had over here 1, 2, 3, A, now which exception would occur at which line? Line number 10, it would throw me, right? Line number 10 of EH interview question. Which one? Number format. Which package? Java.lang, right? So now you'll have got the usage of number format. Okay, same thing if I had 123.4, what would I do? It will truncate the decimal and store it into an N1. Okay, so still possible. Still, what happened over here? So N1, I should do it what? डबल डॉट paths, right, and store into a double, right? So now your n2 will be, right? All good. So we can convert from, but the string should be a numeric string. It should not have any characters. Okay. So now my question to you guys is, I'll comment this out for your understanding. If I have a string sentence and say my name is Alice, I am 12 years old. I have one brother and one sister. Now I want you to count the number of integers in this string. Question क्या है? Count the number of integers in this string. Come on, task time starts now. Okay, this 12 is not a, this is one number. This is two. So okay, let's, if it is confusing you, like this. How many numbers? How many integers are there? So answer should be three integers. So how will we tackle this? First, we will convert this into an array. So my will go at which index? 0 index. Name will go at which index? Is will go at. So how to do that? So the array which will be there will be of which? Will be of string. I'll call it as words, and I'll take which? Sentence dot, and I will split it on which character? Space character. एक character लेता है. On which character? जैसे क्यों कर रहा है भाई? Sentence dot split. So I'll just say okay, array है ना? Words क्या होना चाहिए? Array होना चाहिए. तो अभी words आ गया. So now if I sys out the words array, arrays dot to string, and which array? Words. क्या दिखाएगा वो? उसको array करके दिखा देगा. My 0 index पे name is Alice अलग अलग. अब इसको मैं इटरेट करता हूँ फॉर लूप लगा के. तो एक एक स्ट्रिंग किस में आ जाएगी? वर्ड किस में आ जाएगा? वर्ड्स में से. एक एक वर्ड में से एक एक वर्ड किस में आ जाएगा? वर्ड में. अब अभी वर्ड में क्या है? my. Can I convert my into an integer? Let me try. Integer n1 equals to क्या? Integer dot parseInt. किसको? होगा क्या नहीं होगा? क्या will it throw an exception? Will throw an exception? So I will put a try. कि भाई ये कोड मॉनिटर हो रहा है. अगर इसने थ्रो कर दिया एक्सेप्शन तो किसमें जाएगा? कैच में जाएगा. कौन सा एक्सेप्शन आ रहा है? तो यहाँ आ जाएगा. ठीक है. फिर नेक्स्ट नंबर लेगा वो. फिर क्या आएगा? नेम. नेम को कन्वर्ट कर सकते क्या n1 में? तो थ्रो करेगा नंबर फॉर्मेट. उसको कैच करेंगे. कुछ नहीं कर रहे. थर्ड कौन सा है? इज सब कुछ है ना. फिर का इंटीजर वेरिएबल काउंटर. सो when there is no exception occur, counter will increment. So जब 9 आएगा 9, जब 9 की बारी आएगी, किसकी बारी आएगी? सो कैन ये 9 स्ट्रिंग 9 है ना. ये array किसका? स्ट्रिंग का है ना. तो ये 9 स्ट्रिंग 9 है. सो कैन दिस स्ट्रिंग बी काउंटेड इनटू n1? सक्सेस हो जाएगा. तो काउंटर क्या हो जाएगा? तो जितने बार काउंटर प्लस प्लस होगा वो हमारा काउंट है. और जब एक्सेप्शन आ रहा है तो वो जा रहा है कैच में. समझ में आ रहा है? कैसे यूज करते हैं, ये है एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग का तरीका यूज करने का। सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है, सिंपल सा आंसर है, सिंपल सा सोल्यूशन। ठीक है, स्ट्रिंग्स कितने हैं, नॉन इंटीजर कितने हैं, नॉन इंटीजर, इंटीजर 3 है तो नॉन इंटीजर कितने हुए। हाँ तो लेंथ माइनस 3 कर लो ना। ये जो वर्ड्स जो हमने आरे बनाया है, इसका लेंथ माइनस 3 इज द नंबर ऑफ नॉन इंटीजर्स। सही है। सो ट्राई टू प्रैक्टिस सच क्वेश्चंस गाइस।